let's do a recent pickup segment, shall we? So remember, this is the kind of once a month or so segment where I'm going to go through some of the recent games or games related items that I've picked up that I've be fun to share in the podcast. I enjoy this type of content. One of my favorite YouTubers, Happy Console Gamer, does this, and I love listening to him to talk about it. And I wanted to incorporate that into the show. So let's jump into recent games that I have picked up. I've got quite a stack here, if I'm being honest. But of course, I'll start here. I picked up God of War Ragnarok on the PS5, and I've talked about it last week on the podcast, how much I'm loving this game. We'll talk about it more today. I do have some additional thoughts as I'm much further into the game, but this was a must pick up. Day one, had to get this one. Beautiful looking game as well. And then I also picked up, I guess this was kind of an early Black Friday deal. But it was like I don't know, I got this like 2 weeks ago maybe. But I got the Quarry finally on PS5 because it was like $20. And I was like, that's a good price point. I can pick up on this game. And this is by Supermassive. Yeah, Supermassive Games. So for some reason I get Supermassive and Supergiant Games mixed up, but Supermassive Games makes this. These are the guys that did Until Dawn, and I loved that game. I still think that is one of the sleeper hits on the PS5. That while got decent amount of attention, I think I still don't think it got the attention it deserved. It is truly a fantastic game, and this kind of seems like it's going back to those roots, from what I've heard, especially when this was a couple months ago when we talked about this game with Legend of Cotton. He said it was pretty good, though he did have some qualms with it, but I was still excited to dive into it. And it seems like it's more of a return to Until Dawn form as opposed to like the Dark Picture anthology. So I'm excited to play in this one eventually. And then the other Black Friday deal I got early was my copy of Death Stranding Director's Cut on the PS5. This was like $20 for Black Friday, and so I thought, let's do it. And some of y'all are probably gonna laugh at me and think I'm an absolute fool, but I haven't played this game, and I thought this would be the definitive version to play the game. Even though I have the what is this? The special edition of Death Stranding that I got for PS4. It's still sealed, as you can see. The reason why I've talked about this briefly, but the reason why I have not jumped into Death Stranding is because when this came out, the PS4 version in 2019, not only did I recently have my son, but also there were a couple other games that I was super into and looking forward to playing, like Gears 5. It came out around that time, as well as Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. I remember that came out around that time. Big Ghostbusters fan. Like that's just right in my childhood. That's actually a really good game too, by the way. And what was the other one? Oh, Outer Worlds. Played that one as well. So those are kind of the games that kind of preoccupied and took me away from this one. And then I just never jumped into it. One of the things though that has kind of prevented me or scared me, I guess, if you will, from jumping into it is just how long it is. Because I know it's going to be a time commitment. So I want to find a window to which I know there's like nothing major that I want to play to jump into this. But now I got the definitive version on the PS5, so I'll be ready to go. And then I'm sure this will be worth something sealed at some point. Let's see. And then I talked about this last week when I was playing it, or 2 weeks ago, I think. But I picked up on my Vita Super Stardust Delta, and which is a Housemarque game, an older Housemarque game from like 2012, I think is when it came out. Very arcade-like. And if you've played Resogun, you can see how Super Stardust turned into Resogun. Very similar, though I think Resogun is better. But Super Stardust is certainly fun. And I kind of just wanted something fun to play on my Vita. Another handheld game I actually just picked up yesterday, I think it was, from the time of this recording, on my Switch is, let me pull it up so you can see it right there, is Shovel Knight Dig. And this is a game I talked about wanting to pick up for quite some time. And I eventually did. I was kind of waiting, candidly, for a sale to see if it would drop in price, which it hasn't. And then I was like, you know what? I love Yacht Club games. God, I can't talk. But I love that studio. Now they're kind of a studio / publisher. But I love Shovel Knight. I love Yacht Club. So I was like, let's let's just get it. Let's support them. Let's just get it. I want to try this game out. So I picked it up. It's $25, and I'll talk a little bit about that game once we get to the games that we're playing in just a little bit here on the podcast. But yeah, so I've been kind of playing that briefly. Just kind of started it, but looking forward to spending some more time on that game. And then outside of video game related things, as I move some of this stuff, some other exciting stuff that I picked up are the Splatoon 3 amiibos. So I've got all three of them because you can probably see it in the background there. I'm a big amiibo fan. So I do I try to get every single one that comes out here in the States. But I got this one, which is the Octoling, the blue, and it looks very cool. I thought, you know what? We're gonna unbox these. I was kind of thinking about maybe not doing it, but I want to open these anyways, so we're just gonna unbox them right here. We're just gonna do it. I used to do unboxing videos on the YouTube. I loved doing unboxing videos. And those are some of my best performing videos that we did on YouTube. But man, let's see if I can get that in the camera there so you can kind of see him. The guy looks awesome. Super awesome. And one of the things I noticed even before opening him is that the quality of amiibos from when they started in, gosh, what was it, 2015 to now? No, maybe 2014, maybe before that, to now is like such a huge improvement. Like the detail is massively improved. Like even on this guy, he's got these little details on his little shirt. It's amazing. So I got that guy, and then we got this is, what is it? The Inkling yellow. So we'll open her. Don't worry, I'll pick that up. For the audio listeners, I'm just throwing this stuff behind me. But yeah, gosh, she looks awesome. Let's get that in the camera there. If you can focus, maybe not, but she looks great. And then the last one, which is kind of a weird one, but I think it makes sense from what little I've played of the campaign, because this is kind of your companion, is Small Fry. So this is kind of the little fish, and he's got little pebble bead things. I think they're like fish eggs, actually. But let's open this guy. This is probably some good ASMR, huh? For the audio listeners. Let's open this one. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, so those are fish eggs. But yeah, pretty cool looking amiibo there. Get in that focus. Not going to do it. So anyway, it's cool looking. So yeah, these three amiibos are super awesome. I'm stoked to have them, add them to the collection. I'm kind of sad they came out later. Like a month, what was it? 3 months or so after Splatoon 3 launched, but nonetheless, we finally got them. Of course, I had to pick them up. So I was stoked on those. And then the last thing, and I actually just got this like in the last week, and I'm super stoked on it, is this one right here. It's the Elden Ring strategy guide. This thing is massive, by the way. I'll try to skip back. It's massive, and it's heavy. This thing is such a heavy book. Look how thick that is. And this is only volume 1. So it's The Lands Between Elden Ring Book of Knowledge. And I'll show you just like a random page in here, but it is like an official strategy guide. You can kind of see that. And it's awesome. It's truly, truly awesome. So beautiful. Really heavy duty. And it also comes with, I'm not going to open it, the whole thing, but the Lands Between map, like a full map, which is really, really cool. And it's got all the, like this legend of all the locations and stuff like that. Like this is really, really dope. And it just came out. So the thing, I pre-ordered this back in June, and I just now got it. And obviously Elden Ring came out in February. And I don't buy strategy guides, but for Soulsborne games, are the only games that I will buy a strategy guide for. Not only because I like to see recommendations for boss strategies, and just if I want to, not miss any objects, or not objects, but collectibles, or any items or anything like that, I can use the guide, which is really, really fun. But they're just beautiful, and because I love the Soulsborne games so much, want to have these in my collection. And I actually have. Let's see. I don't know if they ever did a Dark Souls 2 one. There was no Demon Souls one that I could find. But I have Dark Souls Remastered, that strategy guide. I have the Bloodborne one, which kind of started this whole strategy guide collecting thing for the Soulsborne games for me. And then Dark Souls 3. And I don't know if there's a Sekiro one, but either way, I've got those ones. So I'm excited to add this one to my collection. And I do want to get back to this game now. This kind of makes me want to get back into this game and play the rest of it. So this is pretty cool. Volume 2 is, I've got it pre-ordered, but I don't know when it will come. So that's what I have picked up in the last, I don't know, month or so since we last did this segment here on the podcast. Quite a few awesome things that I'm really excited about it. But of course, let me know if you've picked up any awesome games here lately down in the comments below of this video, or you can hit me up on Twitter at GameSite Podcast. Appreciate you checking this out if you're on YouTube and Rumble. And again, if you're on YouTube and Rumble, tune into the full episode of the podcast, and we'll see you there.